Hello everyone, my name is Holden Hardman. Thank you so much for joining me again for another video. I'm a little under the weather today, that's why my voice sounds much more manly than it usually does. Today we're watching It Chapter 2. Last week Matt watched It Chapter 1, had a good time watching that one. I'm very excited to finish the duology here with It Chapter 2, looking forward to it. Jeremy, after watching It Chapter 1, how are you feeling going into It Chapter 2?
So, of the two, obviously I'm a big fan of the first one. I feel like even with the mini-series, just the narrative structure of it kind of suffers by taking it kids in half, adults in half. It's a really long movie. I do like the cast a lot, but it's good and bad. It's a mixed bag, so I'm actually kind of curious to see what side of it everybody comes down on.
I agree. I really like the cast. We got the James Mackey, Jessica Chastain, Bill Hader. Great cast, wonderful cast. The last time we saw James McAvoy and Jessica Chastain in a movie was X-Men Dark Phoenix, which you should watch right here. We watched that for the very first time. Pastor, enjoying the first It Chapter 1, how are you feeling going into Chapter 2 as well?
I don't know if I'm 100% correct in this, but I think this is one of the first movies that the fans kind of really pushed casting it, and I think they pretty much went with everyone. I know Jessica Chastain was up there because I definitely was about that. She's awesome. Like Jeremy said, I think the problem with the way people look at this movie is the fact that it's in half parts. A lot of people go into it basing it off of the original. It's not so much like the original. I really didn't think it made it worse or anything like that. It is that half part. It kind of works better in a novel, but the movie was still watchable and it was really enjoyable.
Jenna, since this month the horror movies have been the thing that you've been worried about the most, seems like we've come out on the other side pretty okay. How did you feel watching It Chapter 1, and how are you feeling going into the second part of that?
So an update on my mental state after this month. I have slept with the lights on. My phone charger came unplugged under our bed the night after we watched It and Hereditary. I reached under the bed to get it. I had that courage, but then I had to call Matt and ask him to come in our room and turn the lights on, and then I slept with the lights on that night because I was freaked out, something about being under the bed, and I felt like It was gonna be under there, and then I closed my eyes and I kept seeing his face. So I'm really excited about watching it for another 3 hours today. It's gonna be great.
And lastly, Matt, how are you feeling going into the second part of It?
I did not sleep the first night. What, we're talking about Hereditary or It?
It.
Oh yeah, no, loved It, man. The whole movie to me was about bravery, and I just loved it. So many hidden messages, so many bygone gem moments that I really didn't touch on, but just the story overall, I really, really liked it. I'd watch it again. It too, 3 hours? I don't know about all that crap.
All right, let's just get into it. It Chapter 2.
If it isn't dead, if it ever comes back, we'll come back too.
We belong elsewhere.
That sucks, they gotta die, man. Man, that sucks.
No, Adrian! No!
Holden working on a script. Low-key, he's in a lot of movies.
Even his Patrick Stewart accent, like he sounds different.
Damn. That sucks. Holy crap.
It's literally Pastor in my old job.
Not out of the bed.
This meeting of the Losers Club has officially begun.
I remember all of it.
Pennywise.
Yeah. Yeah, could we get the check?
You're supposed to say 3.
Pastor!
It doesn't know I know what I know.
What do you know?
How to kill the shit out of it. They showed me the past.
It's like the Mafuba in Dragon Ball. And they like sealed Piccolo away.
We need to split up. You each need to find your artifact.
God dang it, now this just turned into a video game.
It's not for me to tell you this, but your father passed away.
Yeah. In the bathroom from head trauma.
When you killed him?
Yeah.
You think he was just gonna walk away after that?
Oh, Lord. This is some hereditary crap here.
That would be my feeling. Pennywise would just come as a giant roach. He'd just eat me right away. Best meal he ever had.
Oh, God.
won't believe. Awesome. And see.
Can I help you?
That's the author.
Really?
Stephen King. Yeah.
Wow. Stan Lee action happening.
Oh yeah, he's been doing that forever, dude.
Really?
Yeah.
She was fast enough to beat the devil.
How much room is in that locker?
Yeah, right? It's gigantic.
Kiss me, fat boy.
It's your time, Eddie. You should cut that mullet. It's been like 30 years, man. Ours is in my room.
So much I wish they were like, guys, we're in America. Let's go buy some guns. We'll blow it away. What are we doing?
The nightmares we most want to wake up from are the hardest to walk away from.
You should have burned Mike.
Guess you could say that was long overdue. Get it? Because we're in a library.
The ritual doesn't work without the group doing it together.
Oh yeah,
is
now we're
why
getting
it
back to
works.
this. Got it.
Yeah, they have to do the mafuba to trap it.
I thought it was the Legend of the Chode or something. We need to talk to the city about the street lighting because it's pitiful.
Yeah, with all their money that they get in this flourishing town.
Let's just stick together.
Let's kill this fucking clown.
Answer me this: as an audience, are you at this point like, okay, let's just do this shit?
Yeah.
It makes a better book than a
Really?
movie. Yeah.
No. No. Okay, wait a minute. Wrong cheek.
I thought I heard something.
Turn light in the dark!
Like,
That by our
in the
way!
dark.
Turn light in the dark! Turn light in the dark! Is it working? Did we do it?
Tell them why your silly little ritual didn't work. What's the word, Eds? Gazebo. 27 years. I dreamt of you. Oh, I missed you!
Oh, shit! Can he see us?
Let's go to not scary at all.
Okay.
No way am I falling for this shit again. I know your moves, you little
Emily, I love you!
January embers.
My heart burns there, too.
Yeah, that's right. Let's dance. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
I think I killed it for real!
God, bro.
We make him small. Small enough so we can kill him.
You're just a clown.
You're a weak old woman.
The clown.
was too scared to go back. So I made the only logical move. I took myself off the board.
Be true.
Be brave.
And don't ever forget.
We're losers, and we always will be.
All right, just finished It Chapter 2. I really enjoyed this one. I'll let the others take it away. Jeremy, how did you feel about It Chapter 2?
I don't know. I come down on the side of like there's some really good stuff in it and there's some really bad stuff in it. I think even more so than Chapter 1, this one is like got really strong elements and really bad stuff. I do like that they corrected Mike this time around. Traditionally, Mike is the historian, even as a young person. Instead of Ben, he's the one that knows the history of Derry. He's the one that's always in the library and reading the books and all of that kind of stuff. Mike got really short-shrifted in the first movie, so I'm glad they actually found a bit more purpose for him this time around. But it's like, it's really weird to see $100 million horror movies to me. That's just like such a weird thing to wrap my head around. The cast is amazing. The adult cast, the kids, all really good. They could have easily trimmed off all of the flashbacks of the kids gathering their totems and we would have been clocking in at like 2 hours instead of 3. So it's exhausting. By the time it's over, you can't help but be a little sentimental because they do a really good job wrapping it up with all the losers. I got a little bit of issues with Stanley's whole I'm taking myself off the table thing, but that's a whole different conversation. All in all, it's a fun movie.
I guess from like watching the first one, I felt like they did a good job of like consistently showing all the kids and what they were doing. So whenever I saw this one and saw that they had like this underground little bunker thing that they hung out in and all these other moments, I was like, at what point in time did they do this, I guess? So I don't know. There was some, I wouldn't say it was like an issue. I just, you know, why was that left out of the first one if that was like such a big part of like them hanging out, like their childhood? I really liked the cast. Again, I thought they all did fantastic, kind of what Jeremy said. Probably the most dramatic scene for me was when Ben was like drowning in the dirt and Jessica Chastain, Beverly, she was drowning in like the blood. There was finally a conclusion to that January embers, fires, my heart burns there too, because they had been talking about that, repeating that so many times throughout both of these movies. Finally, it's like, oh, you're January embers? And like, yeah, I'm the one. And they finally could be together. I liked it. I don't know. It was very similar to the first one, but it was different enough where it felt like it had kind of a different flavor. Maybe because they were adults doing stuff instead of it feeling more like the Goonies. I really liked it. I don't know if I like it more or less than the first one. I'll have to think on it some more. Pastor, what did you think about it?
Kind of mixed on it still. As I said earlier, this is the second time I've seen Chapter 2. It's almost like a losing battle going into it because of the fact that it was so different than the first one. The first one, you feel a little bit more invested in the story and why it's going on. The second one, for me, the only interesting part about it is the clown decided to change his ways. And if you dive deep into the lore of Pennywise and all that, it goes way further than even the book describes. Stephen King has talked about it and people have talked about it. There are videos here on YouTube about it. You guys check that out.
Oh, you're talking about the Legend of Chode?
Yeah, like there's a lot of stuff about like what Pennywise actually is. Is he a spider? Is he a clown? What is it? All that being said, the second movie was okay. It was way better than the second part of the made-for-TV series. I think they were a little too literal with it, and Pennywise is anything but literal. I love that the Bowers kid was utilized a lot more in these two movies than in the made-for-TV miniseries. He was definitely a big and like a huge part of the story and why things happened the way they did. So that was probably why these were, you know, they did so well for the audience and stuff. I actually, like, I'm with Holden. I gotta think about it because going into it, the first part was definitely, I think it just outweighed the second one by a lot. But after seeing how it wrapped up and how it wrapped up a lot better than the original one did for me, I kind of have to think on which one's better. I might have to just jump them up into one movie though.
When I first saw this in theaters and I saw the end and they basically bully Pennywise to like make him small, I thought that was pretty lame. And then upon watching it again, I still thought that was lame. I get that, you know, you can make someone feel small by picking on him or whatever, but would that really work on a million-year-old being beyond our comprehension?
I get what you're saying, but look at it from like, I don't know, a poetic standpoint. If something is so like, I don't want to say omnipotent, but like super, like you said, out of this world with the power level and everything, it's almost poetic to something so stupid and cheesy that wouldn't affect us is what that person dies of.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Jeremy, did you think that was lame?
Yes, Holden, I did. I thought it was very lame.
No, it doesn't take away from the movie, but it's funny that they're joking about how the endings of that guy's book suck, you know, and then it was like, oh, they just bully him and then kill him? Okay. Jenna, what did you think about this one?
I liked the first one better. I think it played more into their literal fears. I feel like that was scarier to me than this crazy spider thing underground. Like, that seemed more like sci-fi. To me, it wasn't as scary because it's not as real life. I kind of got lost with the basket that it was supposed to go in and the ritual and all that. It just didn't seem as psychological and scary as the first one, where he was more of just a clown scaring the kids, which seemed more realistic. Like, Bowers to me seemed scarier, honestly, because he was like the psycho who stabbed people, which is scarier to me because it's something that could actually happen. Kind of feel like the ending was almost like an apology for how terrible they killed the clown, like the bullying part. I don't know. I didn't like that, and it was just a weird turn from them bullying to like this happy ending and them like it all being sunny and rosy. I don't know. It was a weird transition for me. Definitely didn't need to be 3 hours long. Could have gotten the point across in like 2, maybe an hour, 30 minutes. I kind of kept looking at my phone like, okay, are we getting close? Like, geez, unnecessary. But I did have a couple jump scares. The crazy lady with the swingy tits. She was scary.
Nothing scarier than gravity, you know what I mean?
And Matt, I saw you writing down a bunch of notes. What did you think?
There was a lot of good, and there was a lot of not so good. Jeremy, I think you put that very well. Sometimes we are what we wish we could forget. I like it, but I feel like it was an opportunity of a bygone Jim moment that just didn't quite make the mark. In the very beginning, with the two guys, the couple that got the crap kicked out of them and then thrown over the bridge, that really, really struck me. And I think that might have to do with, I have quite a few friends that I'm very, very close with, and they've talked to me about their history, their life, and their past with specifically oppression when it comes to being gay. So that really, really struck me. I felt that really, really hard. But I appreciate bringing it up. I appreciate showing it because it really does highlight it, because it's a real issue still. Like, that beating that they took is a very literal thing. Very literal. A toast to the losers in the very beginning. Kind of like that. I like that moment. If Prime would have been here, had we been better friends and invited him, he would have, I believe, said the same thing, that they did not let the acting paint emotions at certain moments. You know, at dinner when they were like, oh, I threw up when I found out about this, or I got in a car wreck. Like, we saw that. I really don't feel that they needed to say that out loud. And I get it that they were like all talking like, all right, we're putting clues together, but there was enough clues. I didn't think that that had to be put in there. So this, Prime, I got you, bro. Right there with you. The creep factor of this one was way higher. A very, very different tonal shift, I felt. Jenna, you touched on it as well, that it wasn't the clown. It was very much a bunch of different pieces. And I found myself at times not really as scared. There was jump scares, but not really as scared because there was so much inconsistency with it, which I know it placates to each person, but like there was so much inconsistency that it was hard to put your finger on the pulse of what the terror really was. Again, I've mentioned it that Michael Myers or Freddy or Jason, you know, it's one person, they're walking in, they're hacking you to death. There's some sort of consistency, and I find a problem with that. That's just me personally. What the hell do I know? The underground bunker scene was completely unneeded. It really did nothing, and there were a handful of times like that where I'm like, you did not need that. All of y'all said it. I won't speak to it. One thing that bugged me was I thought Bill had his resolution in the first movie. I thought he had the resolution when he found the jacket down there. That was very much acceptance. He's gone. It's not my fault. It's all good. And then here we are again playing with the same issues. It really felt like a play on the first movie. Be who you want to be proud. Love that. So good. I think a lot of people try to be who they are not or who they are expected to be, and I love that fact of just be who you want to be. And I think that's honestly what's made this series so rad. All of you are your own nerds in your own right, and I'm not in that world, and I think that's why it plays so well. We all stay who we truly should be, and that's just beautiful, bro.
Thanks, man.
I've got goosebumps. Shut up.
Be who you are.
Whenever at the very end, they did tie it together with the emotion and whatnot, and at times it was kind of cheesy throughout, but I think they did tie it together well. Never let them go, talking about if you find that person, and that's just right in there. The knife scene where he gets stabbed. First shot, it was a little lower. Second shot, it's through the sternum. He's running around. I'm calling BS on that, medical standpoint, whatever. And then homeboy at the end would not have survived that long to be talking and whatnot. Anyway, besides the point, minor nitpick. Losers have nothing to lose. I love that so much. When you look at it at face value, it sounds almost depressing, but if you look at it from a glass half full, it's very much of like, you got nothing to lose. Screw what they think. Losers are rad. So yeah, nobody wants to be a loser, so why not be that loser? Like, there's such a smaller group. That's all I got.
Because you mentioned it in the first chapter about the stutter and wondering just from an outside view, like what causes it and stuff like that. Did you notice that Bill only had the stutter when he was in Derry and not when he was home? I don't know if you noticed that he had, like, you get a really good stretch of him on the phone reading the letter and everything, and he doesn't have a stutter. So Pennywise causing that, I wonder if you picked up on that or not.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I mean, I can still respect that, like, maybe he's met this point of like acceptance. Not to say that it can't creep back in, and I'm okay with that, but it played a major part still. Like a lot of decisions, and you could feel the feelings of him. But yes, yeah, you're 100% right.
Jeremy, what would you rate this movie?
I think I'm gonna give It Chapter 2 a 6.5.
All right, Pastor, what would you rate this?
Second one, I'd probably give it around 6.5. I think I'm with Jeremy there. Yeah. Like I said, a lot of it has to do with just the source material. It's just not as strong as the first chapter. If I take that away and just judge it from what the actors did with, with what they had to work with, I think the guy that played Eddie definitely stole the show in this one. I think Richie did it in the first one. Eddie did it in this one. From that standpoint, I'd probably give it a higher score, closer to a 7. But as far as judging it from a movie and what the story was, 6.5 would be the top that I'd give it.
Jenna, what would you rate this movie?
Pretty much agreement with everyone else. I would give it a 6. It just wasn't as good as the first one. And honestly, if I had only seen this one, I might rate it higher. But having the quality of the first one, I think solidifies my score of a 6.
I don't know, guys. I hear what you're all saying and everything. I'm much higher. I'm about a 7.5 for me. I really enjoyed this one. Matt, what would you rate this?
Well, Holden, as I get strep throat sitting next to you, I want to remain optimistic and see the good pieces. And I think that I'm gonna have to go with a 6.5. I was thinking 6 initially, however, in the very beginning, both movies really touch on really good, sensitive subjects, and they bring a lot of good messages. There's bygone gem moments. It shocked me that I liked a horror movie and that I found real value. So yeah, I go optimistic and say 6.5.
You don't have to be perfect at this. I'm just kidding. If you enjoyed this video, leave it a like. It helps me get better. 1 like equals 1 calcium milligram. Comment down below. Comment down below, letting me know what you think. Subscribe if you want to see more fun content. Oh man, what a great video this was. Consider supporting me on Patreon. Help support me help support me. We'll catch you next time. Take care.
Yeah, if you can support Holden on his Patreon, we'll be able to buy him more Dayquil. That way, the following week, we'll come back with even stronger content. As always, we appreciate you, and we'll catch you in the next video. Take care.
Thanks, man.